Today I'm going to be showing you the 5 best Valkyrie cameras for every single map in Rainbow Six Siege. Your first camera is going to go right where these boots are right here. So shoot the boots out, put your camera just like this, and that camera will see anybody trying to plant in dorms or anybody hopping in the window. You can then use that for a C4 below to kill anybody who's planting. If you want another really good Valkyrie camera for this site, you can put it in the corner right above the dresser just like this. In higher elo, this is a bit more default, but for the average player, this camera really never gets shot. And again, you can get a below C4 or get information if they're opening the wall or if they're in the closet. Now let's talk about some cameras for the basement objective. Having a camera somewhere in pillar is really good, as this is a huge power position you need to be holding. And the best way you can do that is by throwing a camera through the bars right here and making it land somewhere on this back wall. Now that camera can see all of pillar, anybody walking up to pillar. Another great camera for the basement site is this camera for the bottom of main stairs. Now all you have to do is tuck it in between the wall and the pipes just like this, and that camera will watch anybody that's walking up towards main. The great part about this camera is they can't shoot it unless they actually cross the double door, and if they do that, you can shoot them, so they're probably not going to risk looking all the way back there because they're so worried about every angle that's in front of them. Now, this final Valkyrie camera is for dining. What you're going to want to do is prone next to the shelf right here, and you throw a Valkyrie camera under it just like that. Now this Valkyrie camera, as you can see, looks at all of dining, so anybody walking in through that door or walking in through the shower hall door, this camera gets an audio cue and a visual cue for everything. And it's pretty hard to see as well unless they're really looking for it, so I doubt this will get found for you. Now that was just one out of 16 different maps that I'll be going over in today's video. The second of which is Clubhouse. Now most of you start on the gym bedroom bomb site, so I'm going to give you a great Valkyrie camera for this. And that Valkyrie camera is actually going to go below the gym rack right there. The reason this Valkyrie camera is good is because typically you'll have like some sort of rotate right here, right? And then you'll have feet holes all across this wall here. Some people like to reinforce this wall, but either way, it doesn't really matter. Because with the rotate and feet holes there, you can see not only anybody planting in gym, but also planting in master, which means you can get a below C4 for anybody planting in either site. But this one's pretty site dependent. You can really only use it if you are actually on this bomb site. Whereas this next camera works for either one of the top floor bomb sites. And literally all it is putting it on a light bulb. I've talked about this so many times on this channel. If you ever want a good Valkyrie camera, just start putting them on light bulbs. To the untrained eye, that's just going to look like a light bulb and not like a Valkyrie camera, especially with all of the light coming out of it. It allows you to see all of construction though, which if you're playing in cash or if you're playing in master is a really important room to have information on. So this is a great camera no matter what site you're playing. Having information in garage also is very important, and there's a lot of really cool Valkyrie cam spots here, but the one that I found gets shot the least is the one that you put to the right side of these black pipes, just like that. Now, the reason this camera typically doesn't get shot is because people have to walk into garage through this door, right? And when they're looking for Valkyrie cameras, they're looking up on the ceiling. And then by the time they get to this point in the staircase, that's when they're able to actually shoot the camera, right? But by the time they're up at this point in the staircase, they're not going to be looking behind them. They're going to be looking at the head holes, at the door, at top red, which means they usually don't have the convenience to be able to look up there for the Valkyrie camera, which is why this camera typically never gets shot. The cool thing about positioning a camera somewhere on this wall specifically as well is that if there's head holes right here, it allows that camera to see anybody on the default plant, or at least hear anybody planting on the default, which means, yes, you can get a below nitro cell for it. Now, I've talked about nothing but cameras for upstairs bomb sites, so let's go over some cameras for the basement. First up, we have a Valkyrie camera that's kind of well known in higher elo, and that is the classic camera that goes behind the exit sign. If you come behind the exit sign and make sure that your camera is actually like on the back of it like this, it will get covered by the exit sign, but don't worry, the exit sign doesn't really cover much of your vision. You can see anybody in the main hallway, which allows you to get a below nitro cell anywhere on this soft floor. If that camera's too default for you, then I have a great camera actually inside of kitchen if you do want that below nitro cell kill. So what you're going to do after reinforcing this hatch is you're going to prone on it, and then you're going to throw your Valkyrie camera under this part of the shelf. Make sure though that it actually sticks to the top of the shelf, and you throw it as deep as you possibly can. This camera makes it to where if they're crouched, they can't see it, and if they're standing, they can't see it. They can only see it if they're prone, which they're not going to do on top of the hatch, especially if it's open. But this camera can see pretty much all of kitchen, so it's a great camera that you can use. Now for the final Valkyrie camera, make your way into blue, This Valkyrie camera you're going to put on this red looking wall, just like this. Now that Valkyrie camera can't get shot by the hatch, but it can see all of oil pit, anybody dropping into the oil pit hallway, or also anybody walking up from secret stairs, as well as an audio cue for anybody planting inside of the arsenal bomb site. You also get a visual on anybody dropping the hatch or an audio cue of anybody opening or being on top of the hatch, so it's a great camera for anybody trying to push this general side of the map. Now that we're done with Clubhouse though, let's move on to the next map, and that is going to be Chalet. Now obviously you might be wondering what the best Valkyrie spot is for the general like main lobby, right? There's so many. You can put it up in this corner, you can put it up in this corner, but most of those are going to be expected. If I'm a good player, I'm expecting a Valkyrie camera to be somewhere on the left because it allows you to watch all of bottom fireplace and all of top mez. No one expects a Valkyrie camera to be in the right corner, just like that. That Valkyrie camera can see all of top mez, but because it can't see the bottom of fireplace, a lot of people don't like to use it, hence nobody really looks for it. I'd rather have a Valkyrie camera that can watch just a little bit but still stays alive than a Valkyrie camera that watches a lot but dies because of how default it is. And this Valkyrie camera I find pretty much never dies unless they use an IQ. And you can still get below C4s on all of this wooden floor here. Another Valkyrie camera that's actually pretty underrated is one in solar. So if you put a camera just like this in the grass won't actually break. Whereas if you put a camera in pretty much any other plant at all, that plant breaks, right? It was a balancing change that they introduced for Valk a long time ago because people loved putting her cameras in plants. But because you're putting the Valkyrie camera in between the plant stems instead of actually on the plant stems, it doesn't break the plants, but instead hides the Valkyrie camera in them. The great part about that camera is not only is it hidden because of the plants around it, but also people are walking up to solar, this huge plant covers your camera. This camera can still see them walking up though and give you a good audio cue for anybody walking up as well. It also lets you know if anyone's on the solar rappel or if anyone's in owl. It's a great hidden camera for solar. Now let's start talking about Valkyrie cameras for the basement. Now my personal favorite Valkyrie camera is having a Valkyrie camera for the bottom of fireplace, just because people love to run RAM and just make a bunch of vert here, right? Now I used to put the camera on the light right here, but they have since taken out that light. So instead the best Valkyrie camera spot that I can really think of is one that goes under this table. And the best way to do that is actually to go downstairs. When you're in sight, you can break this barrel, which allows you to get on top of this metal crate like this, and then you can shoot open this part of the floor right here. And when you shoot open this wooden floor, what's above this wooden floor is actually that table that I showed you earlier. So when you throw your Valkyrie camera after breaking both of the layers of wood like this, the Valkyrie camera sticks under the desk and allows you to see anybody's feet who are inside of the mezzanine. That pot right there though that's broken will be an issue for you being able to see anything. So if you go upstairs and you kind of just move around the pottery bits a little bit, you can finally see out of that camera. Another Valk cam that's pretty similar is one for the red hallway. Another Valkyrie camera that's pretty much just as important to have is one that looks at this hallway right here. And a great camera for that is on this green shelf in Big Garage, where you can just put a camera right there. Now that camera can see all of Big Garage as well as anybody in the hallway that's moving around. Now the final camera is really good if you're on the top floor, if you're on the bottom floor, or if you're on the kitchen bomb site. And that's having a camera somewhere in the red hall here. Now if you find this wooden beam right here, don't shoot directly above it or else it'll end up in trophy. You want to actually shoot a little bit beyond it right here, just like this. And then when you throw your camera, just like that, it'll end up under this little shelf that's in the red hallway, allowing you to see the feet of anybody here, and also being a hard camera to find in the process. Now the next map is going to be Coastline. Now you want a camera that sees into hookah, and a great camera for that is simply just high up in the corner, just like this. That camera can see anybody on the default as well as give you an audio cue for anybody on the balcony or the window. I also think having a Valkyrie camera for billiards is pretty important, as the default plant is usually behind this bomb chassis here. And also having a camera for Aqua is pretty important too. So when you throw a Valkyrie camera under this chair behind the lamp just like this, you essentially combine both of them in one. This camera sees all of Aqua, even into the luggage as well, gives you an audio cue for the Aqua balcony, but it also lets you see the default plant right there, which allows you to get up below nitro and kill anybody right there on the plant. Now, if you're ever going to the kitchen bomb site, making sure you have information on all of Sunrise as well as this hallway is pretty cool to have. So I always go into Sunrise, go below this table here, and throw a Valkyrie camera under it just like that. And that allows me to see anybody in Sunrise as well as see anybody going into the hallway or onto the side door into kitchen. Speaking of cameras for the kitchen bomb site, putting a camera underneath these ovens right here ensures that if they plant in kitchen, you'll know about it, and you can even see into the bathroom and get an audio call for your kitchen door too. Now finally, I like having information for this hallway in case I'm trying to hold above in VIP, or maybe just hold the room if I'm playing up top. So making sure no one comes in this hallway is pretty important. So I always put a camera somewhere in the ceiling just like this. That way if they walk in this hallway, I'll know about it and I'll get a visual on it too. Now the next map is going to be Villa. There's a lot of great Valkyrie cameras for this map, so strap in. For the first Valkyrie camera, this is good if you're on either one of the top floor bomb sites, and that's putting it in this bookshelf behind all of the leaves of this plant. That's a pretty hard Valkyrie camera for me to see, but it gives you information on anybody top main as well as anybody in the 90 hallway, which is very useful. I also think having information on top landing is pretty cool, especially for both of the top floor bomb sites, but the one behind this pot under the bench is way too default. So instead what I want you to do is throw it on one of the lights of this chandelier just like this. That camera literally never gets found in my experience, but it allows you to watch all of red stairs, all of top landing, and even gives you information into 90. Now the next camera is useful if you're playing either statue or the downstairs bomb site, and that's a camera for master. Now hands down, the best master camera that you can get is if you go into laundry and you shoot to the left of this hatch in the floor just like this. You can then throw your Valkyrie camera through the floor just like that, and that camera will end up under the master bed, which is pretty hard to find or shoot, and you get info on all of master just like this. Now next up, you'll want a Valkyrie camera for trophy or for boar, just in case you go to the upstairs bomb site. And the best one you can have is in this dresser just like this. That Val cam will watch all of boar, even give you information on the landing as well as into trophy. Now finally, if you come to the downstairs bomb site, you want a cam for laundry. So I would put one behind this bin, just like this. Now if it touches the bin, it will break the bin, but with the bin there, anybody who walks into laundry will not be able to see that Valkyrie camera at all. But the Valkyrie camera can pretty clearly see them, so it's great to have this information if you're playing downstairs. Now next up is consulate. You have the classic bookshelf camera right here that you can easily have for the default plant right there. Having this camera allows you to see the default plant and you can nitro below. Very simple camera. Now if you're concerned about the other default plant, which is usually right here, you can put a camera just like this in the corner right there. This camera will allow you to see anybody on the default and anybody in the closet going in through there. Now, if you're in the basement, just like Clubhouse, one of the best Valkyrie cameras you can have is on a light bulb just like this. Again, they're going to think that that's just a light bulb, but that camera can see pretty much all of backside in case you're worried about people rushing through there. So you can just sit on this camera and physically be front sight and essentially cover two areas at once. Now, if you want an actual good camera for the front side where they're normally going to plant, I always go to this tire and put one inside of the tire just like that. This camera can see them walking in through yellow and walking in through the breach, as well as anybody planting behind red car. So it's really good in case you're worried about a sight rush. Now, if you're playing in the basement or you're playing one of the mid-floor objectives, a great camera that you can have is slightly above these plants on this pillar, just like that. That camera is pretty well hidden by the leaves, and it also allows you to see the entire hallway to your left, all of bottom spiral, as well as give you a sound call out for anything Visa side. Now let's move on to the next map, which is going to be Bank. Now, this is Valkyrie's best map, so there's a lot of good cameras here, but I'll show you the ones that get shot the least often in my personal experience. First of all, the one in between the pot of plants and the flag right here never gets shot. It's an amazing cam that can see all the way into the hallway, as well as give you visuals onto the janitor door. Now, there are a lot of great Valkyrie cameras for the lobby of Bank, but in my personal opinion, the best one is going to be in Lone. If you simply go to Lone and you hug this brick wall right here, and then you look up and slightly move forward, you can get a Valkyrie camera on the very top of the pillar just like this, and that is not able to be shot by pretty much anyone in lobby unless they're really looking for it. But this will still watch all of lobby, and this camera literally never gets shot unless they bring an IQ. Now, if you're in the basement, there are a lot of good Valkyrie cameras here, but having a Valkyrie camera in garage is crucial if you want to win, just so that no one like really lurks up here, you know what I mean? And the best one that you can do goes on this mirror on the armored truck just like this. The reason that's good is because no one's going to look there for a Valkyrie cam, first of all. And second of all, if you look to the right, you can actually see the entrance in the garage. And the best part about it is if they're somehow able to see that camera, maybe they bring an IQ, maybe they drone it, they literally can't shoot the camera anyways because it's bulletproof glass on the armored truck. So it sees a lot and it's completely bulletproof until they walk up. The next up, you want a camera for CC just in case they go for the default plant in basement, and I find that putting one under the chair right here usually never gets found. It sees the default plant, which is right there, and then you can just nitro over the desk from inside of Red Hall and you usually get a free kill onto the planter. Now, if you're on the mid-floor site or if you're playing the basement, you want an open area camera, and I find that putting a camera next to the green file cabinet right here usually never gets get shot. I know it seems dumb, but if an attacker's walking into open area, they're going to be looking up for cameras and never down. You have audio in case they hop in on your right, and you have a visual on anybody actually in open area on that hatch right there, which is just good information for early round. But now let's move on to the next map, which is Canal. Now, the first camera that I use all of the time is going to go behind this dolly right here in 90, and right above the ladder just like that. This camera allows you to see all of 90, and it rarely gets shot in my personal experience. Now, a great Valkyrie camera for Skybridge would be right above this TV, just like this. The Valkyrie camera can see all of Skybridge and even into Printer, while still allowing you to see the default plant, which can get you a below nitro kill as well. Now, if you're ever playing the basement, there's a few Valkyrie cameras I can show you here. First of all, I always love putting a camera inside of the printer machine just like this. If you do that, you can see anybody walking up into this room, which allows you to get a below nitro cell right about there when you're inside of the closet. You can also get a below nitro cell for the actual room where the hatch is if you simply prone to this vending machine, and then you throw a camera under it just like this. This will allow you to see anybody's feet who's in radio or in this room right here, which again can get you a free nitro cell kill. Finally, I like to put my last camera in the top right corner right here. It's in such a dark corner that an attacker usually won't be able to see it. Plus, it'll get blocked by those wires when they walk in the door initially, but this can still pretty clearly see them, which makes it an amazing camera. Another great map for Valkyrie is Cafe. Now, the first Valkyrie camera that you're going to put down is actually going to be under this chair, just like this. That camera is going to allow you to see anybody's feet who drops the new hatch, just like this. As you can see, pretty good camera. And you can use that camera to get a below C4 kill, just like that. Now, next up, I always like to have one in the downstairs 90. Whether you're playing top floor, bottom floor, or one mid floor, having a camera below this bench just like this is amazing. Again, you can just see all of the downstairs 90, which no matter which of the 4 sites you go to, attackers are going to end up being here. Now, if you're ever playing downstairs, having a camera that watches this entire hallway is awesome. So I always prone next to these restaurant tables and throw them under them just like this. You have to watch out though, because people will put their drones here. But as you can see, this camera sees all the way into Small Bakery and all the way into Coat Check, and it sees the bottom of Brown Stairs. So it's one of the best cameras in the game. Now, for camera number 4, people love to have these huge pillar cams that they'll just throw like on the skylight or on a pillar or on the wall. That's like the worst place you could put the camera. Please stop doing that. Instead, come to New Hatch and you're going to break this railing right here all the way to the wall, and you're gonna put it next to the cigar case on the wall just like this. This will watch all of pillar for you, as well as give you an audio call for the default plant, and it'll watch your skylight and give you an audio call for New Hatch as well. Great camera, and it literally never gets found. Now, for the final camera here, what you're going to do is shoot out these 2 boxes in that case right there, and you're gonna throw your Valkyrie camera in it just like that. This allows you to see all the way into kitchen and give you a lot of audio you can use to call out to your teammates if they're pushing into prep, pushing into bakery, getting vert, whatever it may be. It doesn't see much, but it hears a lot, and that's really important if you're able to actually use your mic and call out to your teammates. And if you're not, you shouldn't be playing Valkyrie anyways. And the next map is Border, and there are a lot of single hanging light bulbs like this, so you can utilize that to your advantage. The first camera is going to be an armory just like this. Again, they're not going to think that's a Valkyrie camera, but if you get on it, it sees literally all of armory, and it gives you an audio cue for the default plant right there as well. Next up, you want a camera that can not only watch the east balcony, but can also watch all of office, and the camera that goes right here will do all of that for you. This camera, again, audio cue for the east balcony. You can see the entire hallway, and you can see all of office. And even though this may look obvious, I find this literally has not gotten found yet in my rank games. Next up, let's talk about a camera you can put inside of CC. I personally like putting ones behind the TVs just like that. This will let you see all of CC, give you an audio cue for the armory balc, as well as see into break room. So great Valkyrie camera in my opinion. I always find it pretty important to have a camera that watches top or bottom square no matter what site you go to. So putting a Valkyrie camera next to this fan right there will allow you to do literally all of that. And because there's this big fan blocking east, they won't be able to see it or shoot it from the east balcony or the east staircase either. The final Valkyrie camera you might think is a stroll, but it's actually a really good camera. Again, it's just going to be on a light bulb, but this time it's going to be for metal stairs. If you put it right there, literally nobody looks up here for Valkyrie cameras. When was the last time you did that? I guarantee you've never done it. That's my whole point. But this Valkyrie camera can see all of metal and into the hallway, but the best part about it is most people don't even know that this floor for top metal is soft. So if someone's rushing up metal, you can blow up a nitro cell right there. As you can see, anybody rushes up metal, they're dead. So, great Valkyrie camera in my opinion that's super underutilized. But now, let's move on to Skyscraper. If you want a good Valkyrie camera for Skyscraper, putting a Valkyrie camera in any one of these wine racks is probably going to be a good bet for you. These allow you to see all of drum into terrace as well as the top mezzanine, so great camera in my opinion. You'll also want a camera somewhere in sight for any planters. And if you shoot out one of these wooden little mini doors right here, you can actually put a camera inside of them just like this. And those cameras can see a little bit of sight depending on how much of the wooden doors you shoot out, which can get you a below nitro kill if you want it to. Now, if you come to the bar and you throw a camera inside of the wine case right here, that camera will hide behind broken bottles, but it'll give you a visual on anybody downstairs. If they walk up the brown stairs, you can see that. If they walk up the black stairs, you can see that too. And most of all, it's almost invisible to the human eye. For the next camera, you're going to come to top shrine, simply put it on top of the little ceiling right there. This camera can give an audio cue for dragon as well as see all of top shrine, which I find is pretty useful. Now, if you come into Geisha and you go over to this makeup station right here, you can put a camera under the table just like this, so that if they hop into Geisha, you can get an audio cue for it and have a nitro below, which will be right there, and then blow it up. Moving on to theme park. A great Valkyrie camera you can do, I've talked about this multiple times on the channel, is simply putting it just like this if you're ever on one of the upstairs bomb sites. The camera can see all of bottom dragon, all of top dragon, give you an audio cue for the hallway, even see into the cache door, and it also gives you a waiting room camera as well. Very useful camera, arguably one of the best in this video. Another camera that I've covered before is this one that goes on the stem of the UFO for top arcade. Not a lot of good places to put cameras here except for like in vending machines, but that's pretty default now. That camera, on the other hand, I just threw is not very default and allows you to see a lot of bottom arcade as well as upper arcade and the arcade staircase. Now, if you want a camera for this hallway right here, you can actually put one in this drone hole just like this, which a lot of people don't even use. And then now you have a camera for the hallway if they try to go for the yellow wall when you're downstairs. Now, if you want a camera somewhere for throne, let's say you want to deny the plant with a nitro from like split or something weird, I don't know, you can go to the spotlight right here and put a camera on it just like that. To the untrained eye, that doesn't even look like a Valkyrie camera. And then now you can see anybody planting in throne, behind throne, whatever it may be, which is really nice to have. Now, finally, arguably the most broken Valkyrie camera in today's video is going to go in maintenance in case they try to get the maintenance wall. What you do is you're going to get a Valkyrie camera and you're going to throw it to where it goes over this chain wall right here and hits the bottom. Just like that. Boom. And now they actually can't shoot it even if they backed up all the way because it's over something that's completely bulletproof. It's an indestructible camera that you literally can't shoot. It doesn't even matter if you shoot in between the metal. You can't break this. It's an indestructible camera. The only way they can get that is with a grenade, and that's literally it. And this camera can see all of maintenance and even into the maintenance hallway. So probably the best camera in today's video, to be completely honest. Now let's move on to one of my least favorite maps in the entire game, which is Outback. Sometimes you unfortunately have to play the map, so when you do, let's learn some cool cameras for it. First of all, throw a camera just like this. That camera will give you a camera for all of office and for garage as well. Doesn't matter what upstairs site you're on, this is a great camera to have. If you're on this site though, you'll want a camera for piano because the default plant is usually right there. So what I like to do is put a camera to the left side of this light just like this. When people are walking in, they won't be able to see or shoot that camera, especially if they're in the default plant position. But this camera can still pretty clearly see them walk in and hear them plant there, so you can get a below nitro cell right there to get a free kill. If you want a good below nitro cell for dorms though, all you gotta do is put a camera somewhere in the bunk bed, just like that. No one's ever going to look around and shoot that cam, and even before they have the opportunity to do so, you're gonna have a pre-placed C4 right there, so when they hop in, and you see them hop in on this camera right here, you can easily get off the camera and blow them up. Doesn't matter that it's really a bad placement, doesn't matter if you put it under, over, doesn't matter because by the time they're in the window, they won't have time to look at the camera and shoot it anyways. Now, having a camera in bull is pretty important. I actually recommend that you throw it behind these pipes and above the speaker just like that. Now, this camera is hidden by the white pipes, and you might be thinking, well, the camera can't see me, right? You'd be completely wrong. It can see literally all of bull, which is why it's such a good camera. It can't really be destroyed, but it can see you very well. Now, the final camera is super cool. A lot of people don't actually know this camera spot exists. For this camera spot, literally just put it under this light right here. And nobody ever finds this camera. I don't know why, but it easily sees literally all of bottom shark, all of top shark into picnic. It's kind of a funny troll camera, but even so, like, it just never gets found ever for some reason. And you can put this in any one of the lights on Outback because they're all, like, graded off like this. Moving on to my house, otherwise known as Emerald Plains. I was born here as a leprechaun, so I will have a few places that most people don't know about. First of all, come to green stairs. You're going to put a camera on top of the little pillar with these vines on it, just like this. It will unfortunately break the plants, but it sees all of bottom and top green stairs and even into the green hall, which doesn't matter because when people are coming up the stairs, their crosshairs all over here. Their crosshairs not going to be up there, so great camera in my opinion. You can also get an even better camera if you come into library. All you got to do is stick it in this bookshelf just like that, and that camera can pretty much see all of library and even into archives as well. Next up, if you're ever playing the downstairs objective, all you have to do is throw a camera simply right here on this roof, just like that. And this camera will see all of upstairs for a below nitro cell, as well as all the way down into fireplace and even into library and even into the meeting room. So great camera overall. Now next up, you'll want an orange stairs camera somewhere, and I personally like putting it on the chandelier, just like this. It's the exact same chandelier from Villa. They just copy and pasted it onto this map, so you can kind of use it the exact same way as well. This will watch all of your top orange into your orange hallway and gives you great audio for the display room too. Now, if you're ever playing the downstairs objective, you can have a camera in these plants. Normally, Ubisoft doesn't like you having cameras in plants, and they bounce out, but you can simply get around this by just putting it on the wall next to the plants and hiding them in the leaves anyways, just like that. These cameras don't really see much unless the leaves move in the perfect direction, but they do hear a lot. So again, if you have a microphone like you should, if you're playing ranked, you should be able to tell your teammates where they are anyways. Now, Emerald Plains kind of sucks for Valkyrie, but Nighthaven Labs is a lot better. And if you want a camera that can see the default that literally never gets shot for the upstairs, all you gotta do is put it in that corner there. It's a super dark corner, and because the entire map is blue, that blends in the surroundings perfectly, and you can still get a below nitro for the default. If you want a good camera for rafters, anywhere in these plants will do, but simply throwing it just like this gets me the best camera that can see the window hopping into rafters as well as anybody walking up the staircase. Now, if you're ever playing the basement, having a below C4 for vending is pretty powerful. So what I'll do is I'll put a camera on this wall behind the plant just like this. The attackers can't see that camera if they hop in the window, come through the double door, or come through the single door, but this camera can definitely still see them when they hop in, which allows you to get that nitro cell kill I was talking about earlier. Next up, let's talk about a camera for lobby. If they ever push lobby, you can put a camera on this wall right here. Again, don't put it in the plant or else the plant will just break, but if you put it on the wall, you can see all of 90, all of the lobby walk-ins, and if I moved my fat ass out of the way, you'd actually be able to see anybody walking up the lobby stairs too. Now, the final camera is actually going to be for storage if you're ever playing below, and this camera's pretty simple. Just get on top of this table and throw it above this box on the roof, just like that. You get audio for anybody hopping in storage window, which you can use as a below nitro to get a free kill right there. Now, for the final map in today's video, we're going to go over lair. Now, to be honest, this map kind of sucks for Valkyrie. There's not a lot of hidden places you can put Valkyrie cameras because everything's sort of flat. The walls are all flat, the ceilings are all flat. There's nowhere to really hide a Valkyrie camera. However, in certain places, you don't really have to hide Valkyrie cameras. For instance, a really common strategy for Valkyrie is putting a below C4 right below this door right here, and then putting a Valkyrie camera right here on this door. Because nobody really repels on this window and looks at this door because that's where their teammates are, they're never going to see that Valkyrie camera. But that Valkyrie camera can see anybody who walks in this door, allowing you to get a free nitro kill the second that they do. Another good Valkyrie camera to have is somewhere in Green Hall. Now, I like to put mine in the ceiling just like this because most people won't find that when they're walking in the hallway because their crosshair is on the door right there. But you can still pretty clearly see the door entry right there, as well as anybody in the hallway, so it's nice to have if you're ever playing upstairs. Now, if you ever make the mistake of going the basement site as your first site, all you have to do is throw a Valkyrie camera to the left of this light bulb right here, because anybody walking in the wall isn't going to look towards their left, and anybody walking in the door won't be able to see the camera anyway, so it won't get shot, but it gives you information on anybody doing a backside take. If anybody decides to push filtration and get the main wall, though, all you have to do is throw a Valkyrie camera on the left side of this white pipe, just like that. And this camera will watch all of filtration for you, as well as see the default plant on the archive store. Now, the final camera is going to go somewhere in main lobby. All you gotta do is throw your camera on the ceiling, just like that. This camera will watch anybody coming in through the op double, give you an audio cue for anybody in the hallway, as well as, of course, watch the main lobby, and even give you a visual into anyone pushing through the bathroom door over there. And that is it for today's video. I stream every single day on Twitch, so go check that out. And until then, watch this next video.